so I think I will do it. Dear Heavenly Father, we're very grateful for being able. Oh, I'm sorry. Before I start with the prayer, yeah. Oh yeah. You just started recording. Okay. I was just thinking about that.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm very sorry about that. Okay.
Okay.
Dear Heavenly Father, we are very grateful for being able to be here together, for being able to be students at NYU Idaho and being able to take classes. We're grateful for Thy Spirit, and we're grateful for the gospel and for the wonderful opportunities that Thou hast given us. We pray that we may be able to learn, and that we may be able to have a meaningful discussion, and that we may learn something and apply it in our jobs, in our families, and in our careers. We ask Thee to help us to have the Spirit with us, and help us to understand the things that Thou wants us to learn. Help us to have the gift of tongues to those of us who need it. And we ask Thee for these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen.
Okay. So, in this week's case study, we were reading about this lady by the last name of Rinaldi and all of the problems that she was having at work. So, who would like to give us a brief summary of what happened? What is the situation that she's going through right now?
She's basically just trying to figure out if she wants to stay at her current position or if she wants to go back to where she was interning at. She's kind of having conflict with her boss and her colleague at this time. Seems like her boss is more in favor of her colleague and wanting her just to kind of do whatever the colleague says instead of kind of listening to what Martha has to say. And I think that's kind of a problem, and I don't know if the relationship will get any better, but I kind of think the main problem is her deciding if she really wants to be there and kind of see if there's going to be a good fit for longer term. She likes the company. I think she likes what it stands for, but I just you also gotta like the people you work for and be able to get along with them as well. And so I think she really needs to evaluate, and that's the biggest problem she's facing right now.
Yeah, exactly. She's like very capable and everything, but I think that she feels trapped in that situation. She feels that she's not progressing, she's not learning the way she would like to learn. And
Yeah.
she has all of these options, and it's very hard for her to decide which one to take,
Mm-hmm.
So, first of all, we know the situation, so let's go little by little, like part by part. So, do you remember, I think her name was Natalie Follett. So, what was her contribution to this problem? What is happening with her?
She's having an affair.
Yeah, first off, she should be fired
Yeah.
because she's having an affair with a subordinate,
Okay.
and so right away she should just be fired. And that should just end the whole discussion.
Yeah. She does not seem very focused or maybe organized with the events that are going on. Honestly, she kind of seems to just drop all of her homework on top of what's her face, Martha, and I don't know. She does not seem like a very organized person.
Yeah, I'm getting a call from Miguel,
Yeah, I'm getting a call from him too.
and it seems that Cheryl is in his group also. I don't know.
Weird. I'm getting a call from them as well.
Hmm.
I think one of the problems is that she is first-time manager, and it's hard to go from being a star producer to managing other people, and so I think she might not have training. So I think that's a problem. And she also seemed like she set up very many protocols in her department, like as far as what new hires do on the first day, right? I mean, that seems rather easy to kind of set up.
Right.
I think it's fine. It's fine to have her, their first day or the first week, do what she had her eventually do, which is go through the products, go through what the company does, familiarize yourself with the marketing stuff. That's fine, but she should have had a protocol and not said, well, I really don't have anything for you to do here, go do this instead. It should have been, here's what I want you to do, go through all this stuff, we'll talk some more tomorrow or whatever. I don't think what she ended up having her do was the problem. I think the problem was that she doesn't have any clue, what she's having new employees do.
Right. Did we lose a few people? I think we just lost Niffy.
He's gone.
You guys, everybody seemed got the link. Okay.
Hello,
Okay,
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I stopped hearing all of you.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to leave the call and come back. Okay, I hear you.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
And,
Thanks for your help.
Okay, so we were talking about Natalie Follett's contribution to the problem, and so you mentioned a few of the things that happened and some of the things that you think that should happen to her also, some of the things that she has done, but let's think about it this way. What do you think is going on inside of her? What do you think, like, more in the way she feels, or maybe trying to find out a reason why she's doing these things? What do you think about that?
well,
Are we talking about Natalie still, or?
Yeah, we're still talking
Okay.
about Natalie. Yeah.
she seems to be overwhelmed.
How is she overwhelmed? Can you explain a little bit more?
She seems like she has too much on her plate. She seems like she doesn't know how to delegate things that need to happen, and I think that is contributing to her stress level. Whenever I've seen people that seem like they have too much going on, it's a lot of the time it's their own problem.
Yeah, and also the case did mention that she was on, I think it was medical leave for 6 months, and she was working from home. So she seems to me that she's kind of disconnected from what's going on in the office. She's having a hard time with that. Any other ideas? Okay, so let's go to, let's look about the next person. So I don't know how to pronounce his name. I think it's something like Vaughan.
Yeah.
Vaughn?
Yeah.
Okay. So what was his contribution? Same thing. What is happening with him, and also what do you think is happening inside of his head? Why does he do those things?
He just feels threatened from, the younger staff that, with he's been doing this for a long time, wasn't formally trained, and he feels like he's inadequate compared to her, even though she has no experience because he doesn't have the education. And so I think a lot of his issue stems from his feelings of inadequacy and, feeling like that she's trying to take over his job.
Yeah, that's right. And they also mentioned that one of the managers was trying to get as many people with MBAs as possible, like young people with MBAs. That was like the focus of the new hires. So I think, yeah, he feels threatened by that. Any other thought?
I think he has kind of a temper issue as well. the reading. Like, he's not very patient. Seems like he can get kind of upset and say things before he really thinks about what he's saying. Kind of lashes out sometimes, and I don't know. He just kind of maybe not very professional.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, all of that gets together. He feels threatened. He wants to establish himself in the organization, and maybe he doesn't know how to do it. He doesn't know how to react to what is happening. And what about Martha? What about Martha Rinaldi? What is her contribution to the problem?
Not saying anything to anybody, seems like.
Yeah, I think she's kind of staying more closer to herself. I think she's staying like she knows the problem is going on. She hasn't really mentioned it to anybody else, you know, and I think that's the biggest issue is she's just being quiet, thinking it'll go away on its own, when realistically it hasn't, and she needs to say something. She needs to stand up for herself, and I think she needs to be honest. I think she needs to bring up and say, hey, since everything that's happened, and since this I've been seeing all this, I'm really considering of leaving, going and pursuing this other opportunity that I had before, unless we can get something worked out and get things worked out. I think if she brings that up, it may put both her boss and her colleague back and be like, oh, okay, we really want her, we'd like her to be here, what can we do, kind of thing. But unless she doesn't say anything, you know, the problem's going to persist. It's going to keep going.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. If a brand new employee came up to me and said that she's thinking about leaving, I'd tell her goodbye. I don't really care what the problem was. I mean, she needs to stand up for herself. That's for sure. But if she said, "Hey, I'm thinking about leaving unless you guys be nicer to me," basically, then I don't know. The thing that I got from her, and maybe it's different for me because I might be a little older than you guys, but she seems like a whiner to me. To me, she just needs to shut up and do what she's told. I mean, she has a problem doing PowerPoint slides. Come on.
I feel like that a little bit too. Like she's, her expectations were just very different than what the reality was.
Yeah, I mean, I think she feels like she deserves a corner office already, and she hasn't done anything.
Yeah,
do the PowerPoint slides, make the copies. Hey, look, you did a great job when we gave you something more important to do. Way to go. And then right away you complain that your boss took credit for it. Well, I got news for you. Your boss always takes credit for your work. It happens all the time. It's never going to change. So stop complaining. Stop whining. Do the work you're assigned, and learn as much as you can. That's what it basically came down for me. And she just seems like a complainer.
Yeah, my biggest issue was, you know, it's not like this is her first job where she doesn't understand how it is to be the new guy and the new person on the team. You know, she worked 2 jobs going through college, and it's unrealistic to expect to be new to, you know, have a different experience even right out of your MBA. It's not going to be any different no matter what company you work for. You're going to be new and you're going to be given the crappy jobs. It's just the way it is. And her expectations of anything different are just crazy unrealistic.
Yeah.
Okay. And, well, thinking about everything that has happened with her in Potomac waters, what do you think have been the most important, like, events that have happened to her during the 6 months that she's been there? It mentions here, like, choice points. What do you think have been the most important parts of her being there?
Well, I'll go. I think the biggest thing is she was given that more important assignment, and she performed well. And her work was recognized by her boss's boss. And I think she should take heart in that and try and learn as much as she can beyond that. Regardless of what her bosses, if they give her credit or not, they know she did the work. I mean, so if she stops complaining and keeps doing all the work they give her and then continues to ask for more, eventually she's going to get the recognition she wants. So I think that was a good decision point for her.
Mhm. Yeah, it sounds like somebody's trying to say something, but it has like a very low volume. Huh. Okay, or maybe not. Okay. What do you think are Rinaldi's sources of power, or what are her strengths?
I think that her education, because she was an outstanding student, because we read that she was in the top 10 universities or something like that. Let me see. Yeah, she began an MBA at the top 10 business school located at suburb of Chicago. So I think that she was a dedicated person, and she also was willing to learn. Maybe the something wrong was her expectation, because maybe she was wanting something else at Potomac Waters, and she was it was difficult for her, not just this step but also the onboarding plan for the company. I think that there was not enough information, and she was really struggling or working along with Bach and also with her manager Paul Poller.
Okay.
My first thought was too that she was just well educated, especially I don't know, on paper. She seemed very well educated. I think I saw she had an MBA and stuff too. Seemed like she knew what to do, and she seemed like, I mean, starting with this new job, it was like she wanted to reach for the stars and do everything and get all this marketing experience that goes kind of along with her expectations and stuff being so high. But I don't think that was necessarily a bad thing. But I feel like it kind of it was, I don't know, just kind of put her down a lot when she felt like she couldn't do as much as she wanted.
Yeah. And also, well, one thing that I was thinking about is that, I mean, she's going through all of these problems, all of these conflicts, and when she talks to the other assistant, I don't remember what the name was. I mean, the other people at her level, in other departments or in other brands, let's say, they seem to be having a much different situation. It sounds like it's very easy for them compared to her. So do you think it's because of them, or you think it's something that she did? I don't know. Do you think, I mean, what do you think she has done wrong? I mean, you already mentioned a few things, but what do you think she has done wrong, and what could she do differently from now on?
I kind of like
I don't know if she's necessarily done wrong. She hasn't necessarily done anything wrong, but she's not doing anything to really help her situation either. She's kind of adding fuel to the fire. I think when you read the case, you look and she is talking to other people and other managers, and they all seem to think very highly of her, and they all seem to, be doing fairly well. So I think she, as far as in her department, got the short end of the stick of where she was placed. But she needs to make lemonade out of lemons, for lack of anything better. She's in the situation she's in, and she knows it's the most opportunity for growth.
I think one of her biggest things too is just kind of like what Mike says, is that she kind of complains a lot. She seems kind of negative about when things don't really turn out the way she wants them to, and I think her attitude has been one of the biggest things.
Yeah, I think attitude is one of the biggest things that people look at when you first start with them, right? They want to make sure that you're going to fit with their culture, you're going to make sure that you fit with their group. And if you can't make the attitude work, then it's going to be real tough for you at that time.
So what kind of things can she do to improve her attitude or her communication with her team?
Shut up and go to work.
Okay.
Maybe try to stop trying to like outsmart her team and just work and show them through her efforts and be more patient too.
Yeah, I think one thing I think you have to just kind of ignore what's going on and definitely do your work, because it really comes down to proving to your employer and proving to your boss that you can do the work no matter what environment. But you don't want to also burn Martha out to the point where she's going to feel like she's disrespected even though she's doing a really good job, or she's doing all this that they're asking her to do, but they're not acknowledging it. They're just like, okay, okay, you got that done, great, now let's move on to do something else, kind of thing. And I think that's kind of where I can see it from that perspective, though, because in my field of work, I've done a lot of things. I've taken on a lot of responsibilities, and that comes with a pay bump, obviously. But you also want to be able to hear from your employer that you're doing a good job at the same time too, because it's one of those things. Yes, do your job. I've learned that you just do your job. And there's going to be conflict. There's going to be issues. There's going to be drama. That's just the way it is. But you also need to have that assurance that you are doing a good job, though, that you are a good employee, that you are a valuable employee. Because if you don't get that feedback, then you're not going to want to stay very long. You're going to feel like this company is just, they're here to make money and that's it, and they don't care about their employees, and all they care about is the person that does their job. And I don't think that's part of why we go in and have a career. You need to be able to work for an employer that really cares about their employees and wants to promote their employees and wants to do everything they can to keep that employee there, because retention is a huge key. And that's kind of where I would actually be on the side of Martha, to the point where I think something does need to be said. Yes, you should still do your work. Do your work. It's not that hard. What they're asking is not that hard. Prove to them that you can do it. Step up to the plate and do it. But also, she should also get the reassurance that she's doing a good job. She's doing what they're asking, kind of thing as well. That's where I'm seeing.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that she brought up with Natalie Follett. He was asking her for a performance review.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now let's talk about her options. So she has the option of staying there or accepting the other. What is the name of it? Deep dive pizza.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk about the first Let's talk about the first option, trying to save the situation at Potomac Waters. We were talking about a few of the things that she can do to improve her relationship with Follett and Vaughn. We were talking about improving her communication skills, do the things that they are telling her to do, but how can she do it? Let's try to be more specific. What can she do specifically? For example, one example, just to start the conversation on this, she could do some role-playing with them. I don't know if it's a good idea, but it's an idea, maybe like we did in the mission. We could, like we did role-playing with our teammates. Maybe she could try to do some role-playing. I don't think it's a good idea. It's mentioned here in the agenda for the discussion. But what good ideas can you think of specifically for repairing her situation? Her relationship.
Yeah, I don't think her relationship with the company is that damaged. I mean, it's not.
I mean, not the company, specifically with her team, with Follett and Vaughn and the people close to her.
Yeah, I mean, I think my answer would still be the same as it's been. Just do the work. I mean, I don't really know anything else that she could really do for me that would impress me. Get your work done, do it fast, do it right, and ask for more.
Okay.
And then that's going to make me think, all right, this person is an asset to me as a manager and the company. I need to show her that I respect her, that she's earned that respect, and with that's going to come all the benefits that everyone else that's been there longer than 9 months gets. But I may be an old-time guy. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, I think she does need to address with her boss that, kind of what her expectations are and where she's feeling that, she needs some more help, where she can do her work all day long, but if her boss keeps treating her the way that she does, as far as not being prepared on her end and, letting her, the person she's having an affair with, basically verbally abuse her, borderline, then, that's not going to be productive no matter how hard she works. So she needs to be able to, at some point, address the issues they've got.
Yeah, well, I mean, I agree with that, but how do you address the affair? I mean, that seems to be the main problem.
Yeah, I think the affair is the biggest issue, but typically people with affairs, that catches up with them, and I don't know if there's much you can do about that. It's not like she has hard proof or anything that's going on, but
yeah, you just got to kind of wait it out.
Yeah, but I mean, she can talk to her about, how he's treating her specifically, and how she could hopefully have some more preparation from her boss as far as helping her understand and receive that training that she was really promised, because she hasn't been receiving any. So
you think she should talk to Follett specifically?
I think so. She's the immediate supervisor, so that would be the person I would pick.
Yeah, I agree with that. So the next question I would ask is, okay, if she does that, what do you think is going to happen?
It's the moving point, the starting point. From there, her boss could either say, screw you, and this is the way it is, which could very well happen. It happens a lot of times. But, she could very well explain her situation, how she's feeling, and get some type of, action from her. But, that's where she's got to start.
Okay. And what kind of things should she mention? Should she mention the affair? Should she?
No.
She should.
What specific
definitely
points
not.
should she say? I mean, yeah, I wouldn't do it either. But what do you think she should mention to her?
Yeah, no affairs. That's just a company rumor. It could just be they're really close and he's her favorite. As much as it's probably true, you don't know. That could blacklist you for that company for a long time.
And frankly, her boss should know that and take care of it.
Yep.
Yep, pretty much.
Okay. And what about the other guy? What about her relationship with Vaughn? How could she possibly improve that relationship in specific actions, specific things she should talk about with him?
Now, I don't remember. Is he like her boss? Is he like a lead or something like that?
No.
No.
He's just the guy who shares her desk. They just work in the same team. Yeah, but he's not really her boss or anything. Yeah, but the thing here is that even though he's not her boss, he assigns her work to do, and I mean, they have a lot of work together, and many times when she asks Follett for something, she just tells her to go back with Vaughn and ask him and just do what he says. So in a way, he's kind of like her informal boss, let's say.
Yeah, he's the senior in that position.
Right, he's the senior. That's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, what do you expect? He's been there longer, been doing that job longer than you. You're not going to be on equal footing as him.
Nope.
You don't have the experience that he has. So she needs to be able to talk with him and have a working relationship where they're not screaming and yelling at each other in a public setting. It's not professional, but she needs to at the same time understand where she stands on the totem pole, which is the bottom.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, if he starts yelling at her in front of everybody, she should stand up for herself. I mean,
Sure.
I'd yell back. So one of my jobs, I was the national manager for our bank for all of the auto auctions for the country. So when we repossess a car, you know,
Wow.
we have to sell it through an auto auction back to the dealers so they can sell it to everybody else, right? And so we were selling probably like 5,000 cars a month. And my boss was kind of a jerk, kind of like this lady's boss, right? And so one day he came into one of the auctions and just started ripping me, right? This was after a hostile takeover of the company. We had just merged, all kinds of stuff, so everyone was trying to feel out, you know, where they stood. And he started yelling at me, like, in the auction in front of everybody. And so I was like, great, what do I do now? And so I just started yelling back at him. And he was kind of taken aback because nobody had ever stood up for themselves, right?
Yeah, no one had yelled at him before.
Right, yeah. So nobody had ever stood up for themselves. From that day forward, I never had an issue again. I became like, you know, his best employee type guy, and I never heard boo from him again. So sometimes I think, you know, she's gotta just say, hey, look, I'm gonna stay on my own ground and be my own person, and you know, if you're gonna yell at me, then we're gonna have an issue. If you want to take me behind closed doors and have a discussion, then you'll get civility from me as well. But if you're going to go after me in a public forum, then I'm going to stand up for myself. My 2 cents.
That's
Yeah.
fair enough, too.
Yeah, I like that. I think that would work. I think. What do you think would happen if she didn't do that? I mean, if he started yelling at her and she didn't respond, if she would just stay quiet and walk away.
I think
What do you think?
he'll always yell at her, and he'll always be able to dominate her.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, she'll be the victim forever.
Yeah, like Mike was saying, unless you stand up for yourself, you know, they're gonna take advantage of you until you otherwise that you can stand up for yourself, or you know, you're not gonna take whatever they're giving to you or attitude. You know, they're just gonna walk all over you until you decide otherwise. So.
So now let's talk about the advantages of staying in the company. If she chooses to stay in working for Potomac Waters, what are the advantages of that decision?
You know, I think she did her research and picked the company that she chose because of, you know, its strength in marketing, the training she can receive, and all those reasons she chose that company are still valid. So.
Okay.
The company also was in an expanding period, so there are some chances that she could get a good position in the company and maybe in a short time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the advantage is just to staying are what everybody said, and it's all the reasons she decided to take the job in the first place. Better exposure to all of the marketing channels, better, you know, a better company that's more safe from recession and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree with that. One of the reasons she wanted to be there is because she wanted to learn. She wanted to learn from people who really know what are doing about marketing. And yeah, I think she could do that there. And what are the disadvantages of staying there?
Well, doesn't it pay less right off the bat? Doesn't it pay less than the other job did?
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
So there's that.
And her boss is having an affair with one of her coworkers. That's a problem.
Her only other real coworker.
Yeah.
That's on the same level as her, so she's always going to be second.
Yeah.
At the same time, that gives her a nice opportunity if she sticks it out, because eventually they're going to get found out, and she's going to be in a prime position to take over.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What I was thinking too.
And another thing is that I don't remember who said it, but somebody mentioned that since they were very busy with new brands and campaigns and their growth, they didn't have time for her. Yeah, they told her straight, hey, we don't have time for you. We know that you want a mentor, you want to learn, but we don't have time for you right now. We're too busy for that. And so that was one of the reasons why she wanted to be there. And right now, if she doesn't have it, she's not. That's not happening for her, right? Or
Yep.
what do you think?
Oh yeah, that doesn't seem like it's happening right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. And what about the other option, leaving Potomac Water? What are the advantages of doing that?
Well, like Matt said, more money. And
She's fairly
they love
comfortable
her.
there.
Yeah, they love her.
Yeah, I kind of remember reading that they were offering her to be the leader of her own department, a new department that they wanted to have in the other company, and they wanted her to lead that department. So I think she would have a lot of growth, a lot of opportunity to work and do new things there. What else?
I think those are the main ones.
Yeah, I think. Well, she kind of knows what to expect already at that other company too. She kind of already knows what she's walking into because she interned there for a little while. So she's familiar with the people. She's familiar who she'd be working with. So that could be an advantage. Familiar compared to what she walked into here. She didn't really know what was going on. So maybe relationships with people, at the other store would be possibly better. I feel more comfortable.
Yeah, and also the other company, the case mentions that the other company is like very entrepreneurial. It's a newer company, and yes,
Yeah.
there is more risk at working by working for this company, but at the same time, they are having a lot of growth there, and she could get a very good position in that company, and as it grows, I mean, she could like have a faster career growth than in the other company if she does it well, if the company survives and everything.
Yeah, I thought that too. And then as I read, I don't know if she really seems like the entrepreneurial type to me. I mean, her decision to go with the bigger company in the first place, the more established company, kind of made it seem to me like she was a little more interested in kind of the corporate lifestyle. I don't know.
She almost
Yeah.
just seems afraid of succeeding, because really her success in that company is all up to her from an entrepreneurial standpoint. And if she doesn't do well in her position, then the company's not going to do well. And I think that scares her quite a bit.
Yeah, and they're in the middle of the recession, so like the thing said, everybody's going to stop eating out. That's the first thing that goes, and so that company has a little bit less stability than even it would normally. And restaurants are notoriously going out of business all the time.
Yeah, and since in the other company, a lot of it depends on her directly, and she doesn't have a lot of experience, so yeah, maybe she feels like she needs to gain experience first. And do any of you have ever had an opportunity to work at a company like that, at a new venture,
Yes.
a new company? What was it like?
Well, I've worked at a couple, and it's exciting, but it's hard because it all depends on you, right? There's no established history of the company. You're creating everything. You're creating all the policies. You're creating all the procedures. and you're doing sale. I mean, you're just basically having to do all of it, and so it's tough. If you don't perform, the company doesn't perform, and your job is basically done.
Yeah. And what about in the other hand? Like, what do you think are the advantages of it, or what did you like about it?
Well, the opportunity, right? I mean, most of the time, if you're in a management position, you're going to get some sort of profit sharing, and if you're in on the ground floor, you know, you'll end up being one of the executives probably one day, and that's where all the money is, right? So.
Okay, and do you think she has any other option besides these two options?
I mean, she could look for a different job, but I think her best option is to stay where she is. Personally, I think her best option is to stay where she is, learn what she can learn, and go to work that way.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so your recommendation for her is to stay at Potomac Water, where she is?
Yeah. Stay where she is, forget herself, and go to work, as we've heard before, right?
Yep.
Who said that?
Okay. So, yeah, at first my recommendation was actually the opposite. I was thinking that she should leave Potomac Water and work for the other company. Yeah, but now that I think about it a little bit more, yeah, I think she should stay also.
I mean, it's tough because I don't think that either decision is necessarily a bad decision. So if she decides to leave, then she goes and makes more money, and she goes to a place where they love her, and, you know, she can shine. So just for me, it just seems like she needs the experience of having it rough a little bit, and learning what she needs to learn in that kind of a setting. That's the reason I thought she should stay.
Okay.
But I don't think the other way around is necessarily going to like damage her career beyond repair.
Okay. Anybody else? Miguel or Victor, any other comment before we go to the conclusion?
No.
Yeah, no.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm gonna tell you what happened after this. So, shortly after she had all of these problems, and well, what actually happened is that Follett and Vaughn left the company. He doesn't say why. I don't know if they got caught in their affair or what happened.
Wow.
They left, and Rinaldi learned that Follett had actually been job hunting all the time. She had been looking for a new job. Then Rinaldi had two new bosses who admired her work and relied on her, and she was promoted ahead of schedule. Yeah, it seems like she learned the lesson, and she had a lot of success after that. She decided to stay. So knowing what happened afterwards, let's use our imagination a little bit, and let's try to think about the lessons that she learned. What do you think she learned about herself? Maybe not about the situation, about herself.
She can do hard things.
Yeah, I think that when she got to the company, maybe she was kind of like, I don't want to say prideful, but maybe she thought, hey, I have an MBA, I want to do all of these big things, but she had to learn that maybe she wasn't that as prepared as she thought. Maybe she learned that she had to learn, she had to grow, she had to start from below, as you were saying, and then rise up.
Yeah, the basis.
I'm sorry, Miguel. Were you trying to comment
Yeah, I
on that?
mean that she had to learn since from the basis because I mean she was since in charge of the copies and since more administrative tasks until she could have this good position. So I think that she learned that she had to start from the basis and then start building up all the different skills and experiences that could help her for her job. So that was great.
Yeah.
I'm sure she feels like she's glad she stuck with her decision to stay there because I don't know. Now she's gonna get all the experience and everything she wanted. She just needed to be patient and keep on working. It all worked out.
So now let's try to apply it to ourselves. So what have you learned about yourself in your career, and about what motivates you at work? Well, for example, for me, I have learned uh, that I get motivated when I set goals for myself, when I set specific, maybe numbers that I can measure of my performance at work. And I like being able to see them and compare them, and it helps me like every moment of the day to do an extra effort, knowing that I can see and measure it and compare it. I don't know, that's something that helps me. What about you guys? What helps you?
The biggest thing that helps me, because there's times where I get in there in the morning and it's kind of hard to get going. Um, just trying to organize my day and figure out what I'm going to get done. But I think overall, kind of like you said, goals, but I really don't write them down or set goals. I just have an idea. Okay, I need to get this, this, and this, and this done today. If I get this done, all these things done today, it's a good day. I got what I got accomplished, kind of thing. I think one of those things that keeps motivating me to go into work and get the things I need to get done is that self reassurance from my bosses and from my coworkers that I'm appreciative because I have to deal with every employee there, dealing with their payroll and how important that is to make sure that it gets paid in a timely manner and everybody gets paid correctly. Making sure their benefits are taken care of and they're signed up, and if they have any questions, they can come to me and I can answer it for them. I think that motivates me because I think I've learned my job over the last 3 years since I've worked there, from going from not really knowing nothing about how to do a payroll or nothing know how to do payables or not to know how to hire people on or do benefits or anything like that. Anything that I really do at work, I didn't really have an idea. I knew it kind of from a knowledge standpoint because of school, but doing it was a different thing. But over the last 3 years, just been able to gain that confidence and knowing that I'm doing a good job, and then I get that feedback from my bosses because they're asking me to do more, pick up more stuff, or thank me for getting on top of things and getting to them in a timely manner. I think that helps motivate me in my job to do a good job and to keep doing what I'm doing and helping those around me at the same time. You're going to have your tough days, but I think overall, knowing that people have your back and the people that you work with are good people and you like to work with them in a good environment, that helps me keep going back to work every day motivated to go, because I've had jobs where I don't feel motivated to go into work. I've had jobs where I'm like, oh, here we go again. Just because, I had bosses like that. I had people that I worked with that were like that, and it was just hard. This is one of my first jobs I've been able to find where I'm like, okay, I don't have to look over my back. I don't have to look over my shoulder worrying about my job or my position. I know that if I did something wrong, I'm going to get talked to about it, and I'm going to get, I'm just going to get counsel on it. I'm not going to lose my job over one stupid mistake that I made. I'm going to get help, and they know that I'm good at that. They know I'm good at listening to criticism and fixing it immediately. Because I've had to do that over the last 3 years because it's a learning curve. But I think a short story, yeah, I don't. It's longer than it should have been, but I think that's what's motivated me. Just the whole environment.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. While you were saying that, I was thinking about, well, you were saying that you like kind of like the positive feedback. Maybe you said it with other words, but I was thinking that that's also something that really motivates me, like feedback from maybe my boss or coworkers or clients. I don't know, when I am able to help somebody and they really appreciate what I do and they tell me, hey, you did it very well. Like, it really made my day. I really like that. I really like feeling that I was able to help somebody, that I was able to make somebody have a better day, and
Yeah.
and receiving the compliment back for doing my job well.
Yeah, I agree. Creating value. I mean,
Well, guys, we have about 5 minutes before we need to get off for our hour cutoff. So if we want to, I don't know if we want to wrap up or whatever, but I just wanted you to be aware that we got about 5 minutes. So
Yeah. This was actually the conclusion. Yeah, there's
okay.
yeah. If nobody else wants to share anything else, maybe we could finish with a prayer and then we can talk about next week.
Yep, I can do that.
Yeah. So, Miguel, would you like to say the prayer, the closing prayer?
yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Heavenly Father, we thank Thee for the opportunity that we have to have this gathering. We thank Thee for the blessing to be a student in this marvelous university, and we ask Thee for our families, and that you help us with the guidance with the Spirit, that we can learn and apply all the knowledge that we have learned and that we have developed during this meeting. Please help us, and also bless the instructor and help us and help the other students throughout the world. We ask these things in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, guys. So do we know who's in charge next week?
Let me see.
And Neffy, I will send you the link to the video so you can upload it to that discussion board.
Yes, please.
So once we get off and once we stop, I just want to make sure whoever's in charge next week knows that they're in charge. So
I have a paper here. I think it's not updated. It says that Amy is in charge, but I don't think she's in the or isn't she?
no, I think I had a more updated one. Let me go look at my documents again. I think I have it still. Actually, you know what? I think I know. I'm gonna have to find out as quicker this way. Let's go see.
Okay, I have another one here, and it says Ryan Johnson.
Oh, and he wasn't on tonight.
Oh, that's right.
Forgot about him. Yeah, so we can do that. So Ryan, since he's not on tonight, I guess I'll just shoot him an email and just let him know that he's in charge for the case study discussion next week. So,
Okay.
But I think we've got everybody. I think that's it. We'll just plan on 8 o'clock next week, and I will send the link to you, Neffy, so you can upload it to the discussion board, and then I will email Ryan letting him know that he's in charge next week. So.
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, great.
Okay, guys. Thanks. Have a
All right,
good
thanks,
night.
guys.
See you
All
next
right,
time.
good night.
Right.
Bye bye.
Bye.